morning and welcome to Johnny Millwater Live. Johnny's Happy Place. I hope everybody's doing well. I'm feeling pretty good. Let's see if I can show up. Here we go. Here we go. Hey, it finally worked. Fantastic. Oh, what a morning it's been. Sorry to keep you waiting, everybody. Hi, Shayna. Thanks for saying hello. I'm so glad you're here. I had a whole bunch of problems with my phone. My phone was broken, and that's what I use for my clock. That's what I use for my camera. So it's been a big, I had to sort of rewire it, and it's wrapped in a coffee. It's wrapped right now with a rubber band and a coffee filter to keep the two screens from touching. I'll take a picture of it later, but not right now because it's my phone. You know what I'm saying? I think you do. All right, let's see here. That's awfully zoomed in, but we'll make it work, won't we? All right, folks, so let's go on down to the chat, shall I? See how everybody's doing. There we go. In comes the chat. For those of you who never watched the show, right now I think it's just Shayna watching. For those of you who never watched, whatever you got to say, you type it in the chat, and it shows up right here on the big screen, and then I'll talk to you all about it. Shayna says that Tony Knuckles and I were wondering what was going on as part of our Sunday morning routine. Hey, it's mine too. I got here early. I picked out all kinds of great stuff for you, but my camera broke, and I didn't know what to do. Ciao, Bella. Thank you, Tony. I'm glad you're both here. I appreciate you. Hey, do me a favor if you can. I'd like you both, if you'd be so kind, to download Twitch. Follow me. I'm under Johnny's Happy Place, and I'll be broadcasting there Sundays at 11:30, starting in 2 weeks. How am I today? Thank you so much for asking, Shayna. I've been in a weird mood all week, kind of angry and frustrated. Today especially, because I got everything all set. And then it didn't work, and then I had to sort of MacGyver things up. That was a little bit tough. I found myself screaming alone in the room. I don't like being angry. Oh, I'm so sorry. You were worried. I was just frustrated. Things weren't working, but it's working now. I jerry-rigged it, which I believe is racist against Germans. I'm trying to find out. Oh, thank you so much for caring. I appreciate you. But yeah, no, we got it fixed. It should be good enough for today, and then next week I'll buy some new equipment or something, and we'll see if we can't solve that problem for good. But I have all kinds of great stuff picked out for you today, so why don't we spin the wheel? And how are you? I might have just said fine. How are you, Tony? I tuned in for a little bit. I was in the bathroom, and I watched a little bit of the big lunatic show. I enjoyed that. All right, here we go. Let's start the big thing. Oh, how are we going to start today? Ooh, nice. All right, then. Shakespeare. Let us move into the Shakespeare Theater. Hello, everybody. Still having some technical problems trying to figure it out. Here we go. We were making our way through the sonnets. I believe we were on number 13. This is sonnet number 13. I thought, where'd it go? Sonnet 13. Nope, that's Hamlet. I don't know why it would do that. Sonnet. I see the one, and I see the X and the three I's. I clicked it, but it's giving me the business. I don't know what's going on today. It's probably my attitude, if I had to guess. Usually things go wrong. I have bad luck when I have a bad attitude. X3? X13. Ha ha! Ha ha! Ah! Okay, here we go. Here comes a sonnet. This is sonnet number 13 by William Shakespeare. Oh, that you were yourself. But love, you are no longer yours, then you yourself here live. Against this coming end you should prepare, in your sweet semblance to some other give. So should that beauty which you hold in lease find no determination. Then you were yourself again, after yourself's decease, when your sweet issue, your sweet form should bear. Who let so fair a house fall to decay, which husbandry in honor might uphold against the stormy gusts of winter's day and barren rage of death's eternal cold? Oh, none but unthrifts. Dear my love, you know you had a father. Let your son say so. I think we might have done that last week. Ah, well, we'll never know. Oh, has some nice things to say. Yeah, I always like to do the sonnet before Dad logs in. I'm great to put on the potty. I don't want to know. Oh, yeah, that's very fair. No, I wasn't using the bathroom. I was just sitting there in a tuxedo. fully dressed. The lid was closed. It was just a quiet place to be away from the kids. I wasn't actually using the bathroom. Sorry about that. Didn't mean to give you the wrong impression. All right, then. Let's spin the wheel. Ooh, all right. Good. I got some good pros picked out for you today based on my mood. So let's figure it out. Let's go down to the pros library. Hi, everybody. Bring in the chat, and then away we go. I'm going to be reading you guys something by Chuck Palahniuk. Now, Chuck Palahniuk is one of my favorite authors. Very, 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 very dark, depressing stuff that he writes. But I'm a dark, depressed person most of the time, so it was on purpose regarding the sonnet. Yes, it was. He keeps getting phone calls. Who's giving me phone calls? I turned that off. Who keeps giving phone calls? What? Huh? Oh, I must have missed that. It was on purpose regarding the sonnet. I try to get it out of the way. Dad doesn't even like hearing about him anymore. You know what I mean? So, anyway, Chuck Palahniuk is one of my favorite authors. And where's my coffee? In a rage, I threw my coffee cup somewhere. Aha! Very, very nice. Now, many of you may know Chuck Palahniuk. Both of you may know Chuck Palahniuk from his work in the movie Fight Club, which is my second favorite movie behind The Princess Bride, a movie that changed my life forever and first introduced me to the idea that material things don't matter. I love the movie Fight Club. It's not so much the fighting, it's the thinking that I enjoy. But you may not know that the book ends differently than the movie. So I thought it might be fun to read you guys the last chapter of Fight Club by Chuck Palahniuk. This is what happens if you remember the movie. You remember the narrator was up at the top of the building, and he shot himself in the head, but he survived. He's holding Marla's hand. This is what happens after that. This is from Fight Club by Chuck Palahniuk. In my father's house are many mansions. Of course, when I pulled the trigger, I died. Liar. And Tyler died. With the police helicopters thundering toward us, and Marla and all the support group people who couldn't save themselves, with all of them trying to save me, I had to pull the trigger. This was better than real life, and your one perfect moment won't last forever. Everything in heaven is white on white. Baker. Everything in heaven is quiet, rubber-soled shoes. I can sleep in heaven. People write to me in heaven and tell me I'm remembered, that I'm their hero. I'll get better. The angels here are the Old Testament kind, legions and lieutenants, a heavenly host, who work and bring you your tray. Paper cups of meds, the valley of the doll's playset. I've met God, looking across his long walnut desk with his diplomas hanging on the wall behind him, and God asks me why. Why did I cause so much pain? Didn't I realize that each of us is a sacred, unique snowflake of special, unique specialness? Can't I see how we're all manifestations of love? I look at God behind his desk, taking notes on a pad, but God's got it all wrong. We are not special. We are not crap or trash either. We just are. We just are. And what happens, just happens. And God says, no, that's not right. Yeah, well, whatever. You can't teach God anything. God asks me what I remember. I remember everything. The bullet out of Tyler's gun, it tore out my other cheek to give me a jagged smile from ear to ear. Yeah, just like an angry Halloween pumpkin, Japanese demon, dragon of avarice. Marla's still on Earth, and she writes to me. Sometimes, she says, they'll bring me back. And if there were a telephone in heaven, I would call Marla from heaven, and the moment she goes hello, I wouldn't hang up. I'd say, what's happening? Tell me every little thing. But I don't want to go back. Not yet. Just because. Because every once in a while, somebody brings me my lunch tray and my meds, and he has a black eye, or his forehead is swollen with stitches, and he says, we miss you, Mr. Durden. Or somebody with a broken nose pushes a mop past me and whispers, everything's going to break, everything's going to plan. Whispers, we're going to break up civilization so we can make something better out of the world. Whispers, we look forward to getting you back. I love Fight Club. Oh my God. Shayna, I adore you. Give me just a moment. I will go down to the chat and we'll talk about it. There we go. Let's see. Doesn't even like me joking about sonnets. No, he's done it. He's tired of it. He doesn't like being talked about. Whoa! Fight Club is your number 2 movie, too? What's your number 1? I forget. I loved the movie Fight Club, and I didn't know you loved it. Wow. Number 1 movie is Back to the Future. It's right there. That's a great movie. I've seen that 30, 40 times. Watched Fight Club so many times. I notice something different every single time I see it, as do I. I can't get enough of that movie. I watch it at least once a year. Do I have a favorite line from Fight Club? Yes, I do. This is your life, and it's ending 1 minute at a time. This is, your favorite line, as Marla said, I haven't been fucked like that since grade school. Interesting fact, you may not know this, or you may, in fact, know this. That wasn't the original line. The original line is, I want you to get me pregnant. I want to have your abortion. But they thought that was too much, so they switched in the grade school line, and somehow that flew through. Interesting fact. Many, many words to live by, no question. You are not... Hey, you know what? Let's do a monologue. Now, I'll do it later. I'm into Fight Club, but I got stuff picked out, so I want to do that first. All right, we just did pros. Let's spin the wheel. Oh, joke. Very, very nice. Let's head down to the comedy club. This is exciting for me. I'm not going to... This is exciting for me. I'm not going to lie to you. I posted a joke last week. It's one of my favorite jokes of all time. And that joke is, what did the Zen Buddhist say to the hot dog vendor? And the answer is, make me one with everything, which is one of my favorite jokes. But somebody on the Tickety Talks, where I posted the joke, posted a secondary joke. I love secondary jokes. And this is that. This is the secondary joke. What did the hot dog vendor say to the Zen Buddhist? The change you're looking for is within. Shayna, just to see you type such things makes me blush. All right, let's go down, let's spin the wheel. Such language on this. Who am I kidding? All right, up. Zen Cohen, nice. Let's go to the campfire. Now, as you know, Zen Koans are teaching tools used to study Zen Buddhism. I believe, sorry about that, I just got caught on something on the screen. I believe we were all the way up to Isshun's departure. That's a Zen Koan number 23, Isshun's departure. When Isshun, the Zen nun, was past 60 and about to leave this world, she asked some monks to pile up wood in the yard. Seating herself firmly in the center of the funeral pyre, she had it set fire around the edges. "Oh, nun," shouted one monk. "Is it hot in there?" "Such a matter would only concern a stupid person like yourself," answered Isshun. The flames arose, and she passed away. I don't get it, but that's all right. I don't have to get all of them. I just have to read them. Let's continue on, shall we? Let's spin the wheel. A cappella. Very nice. Well, let's go sing a song then. Let's head into the Pirate Library. written down some lyrics and some songs I love. I feel like singing, but more so I feel like sharing these lyrics from my favorite song. Let's see. I was sing Bank Job. What the hell? Bank Job is a song by the Barenaked Ladies. I've never sang it before. I was just going to read the lyrics, but I feel like singing it now. It's a song about a bunch of guys who rob a bank, hence the name, Bank Job. Hope you enjoy it. It was an upset in 2 minutes flat. We're back on the freeway, foot to the mat. I can't understand it, we had it down pat. It's very upsetting, could we leave it at that? We all had positions, we each had a role. We'd over-rehearsed it, we had full control. They can't teach you acting, it's there in your soul. It's the same with a bank job and each thing we stole. So I don't need attitude, 'cause you knew just what to do. We all did our best now, we all need to rest now. Leave me alone, wait by the phone. I was the driver, you ran the show. You had the last word, the go or no go. I knew every lane ray in Ontario, but it's not what you're sure of, it's what you don't know. It should have been filled with the usual ones, throwing their cash into mutual funds. We all had our ski masks and sawed-off shotguns, but how do you plan for a bank full of nuns? I guess we panicked, we all have taboos. They were like zebras, they had us confused. We should be in condos with oceanfront views. Instead we're most wanted on the 6 o'clock news. So I don't need attitude, 'cause you knew just what to do. We all did our best now, we all need to rest now. Leave me alone, wait by the phone. Inside the police car, you tried to explain your crisis of conscience, the voice in your brain. And now that the whole thing has gone down the drain, I think we all know who should shoulder the blame. 'Cause you made a choice there, almost sublime. I'm all for compassion, but not on my dime. You look like an amateur, and that's the real crime. So I'll take a walk now, and you do the time. And I don't need attitude, 'cause you knew just what to do. We all did our best now, we all need to rest now. Leave me alone, there's no need to phone. Bank Job by the Barenaked Ladies. How about that? Great song. All right. Here we go. Let's go back to the chat. Oh boy, Shayna's feisty today. This is exciting. Let's see what's going on. All right, Shayna asked me several questions. Let's see. Now, Shayna said she remembers the abortion line from Fight Club, but she preferred the line about being fucking in grade school. And to be clear, Shayna was never fucked in grade school. She didn't lose her virginity until freshman year in college. She's a late bloomer, and I absolutely believe that, because nobody's that good looking and that sweet unless they're a late bloomer. That's just how it works. You're way too good looking to be as wonderful as you are, Shayna, so I assumed you were a late bloomer. Well, Tony says his favorite, hard to say, but most watched movie, Me, Myself, and Irene. You know, I'm a big fan of Jim Carrey myself. The guy does fantastic work. Brilliant actor, brilliant comedian, great painter, and a true artist. I love Jim Carrey, and that movie's pretty good. Shayna asked, when did I lose my virginity? Or is that too personal a question? I remember the segment called Ask Me Anything. Absolutely. It's an open policy 24/7. Ask me anything, anytime you want. I lost my virginity when I was 17. I was a senior in high school. Both of my parents worked, neither of my parents worked, so they were both home, and the young lady who I was dating at the time, her parents didn't work, so they were at home, so we actually had to go to a public park, and that's where I lost my virginity, and ever since, I've been an outdoorsman. So there you go, thanks for asking. Crash Test Dummies in my repertoire, not yet. Thank you for asking. No, not yet. I gotta learn that, what is that song? I only know the one song. And it's I think that's him. As it sees, I don't remember why I remember that. That's the best I could do. Some Crash Test gibberish for you. Now, where we leave off, we just sang a song, didn't we? I tell you what, let's spin the wheel. Whoop, wrong button. All right, monologue. Nice. One of my favorite things to do. Let's get done. All right, let's see. Let's go down to the theater. Oh, my goodness gracious, John Tay. I am very glad you asked. Okay, hold on. This is fun. I was just about to do a monologue, and I'll still do the monologue, but I want to, before we get too serious, I want to answer this question. John Tay asked, how is it working with TK? She's talking about the comedian T.K. Kirkland, who is the single biggest jackass I've ever met in my entire career in stand-up comedy. He is rude. He is superior. He is racist, openly. I only got the gig opening for him because he said to the booker, on the day of the show, when he should have been bringing his own openers, he said to the booker, give me 2 white people. I like to see them sweat, because he has an all-black audience. Of course, I did fine, and so did the other comedian, Joy Wills. But nonetheless, I did 6 shows opening for TK. The first show, I got off stage to an empty room, to an empty stage because he hadn't arrived yet. It was 20 minutes after I got off stage that he decided to show up and start doing his work. He's arrogant, he's pushy, he's rude to the staff, and I don't find him funny. So there you go. Thanks for asking. Liked his audience. And I love the comedy club. I never even actually met him. He never shook my hand. I've never in my entire career, I've opened for many, many actually famous people, not just people pretending to be famous. And they've all been kind to me. Every single one of them has looked me in the eye and shaken my hand at the very least. He wouldn't even let me sit in the green room. So I had to sort of sit in my car while he was on. So that's what it's like working with T.K. Kirkland. There you go. Ooh, a monologue. Let's do this. Now, God, I hate that guy. So rude. So rude. I hate rude. Anyway, I've been watching a show called The Bear. I love The Bear. And I'm not the only one. Apparently, it won all the Emmys this year for Best Comedy, which is weird because it ain't funny. Hardly at all. There's moments. The second lead, Ayo, she's a comedian and very, very funny. She just hosted SNL. She's fantastic. But it's not a comedy, but it's a wonderful drama. And there's a fantastic monologue in it. And as you know, I love doing monologues. So I would like to do Carmen's monologue from The Bear. This is when Carmen, the lead character, a master chef who's come home to take care of his brother's restaurant, goes into Al-Anon for the first time and talks a little bit about what he's been through with his brother who's an addict. My name's Carmen. My brother's an addict. He was an addict. And this morning I'm sorry, I forgot. Before I came to Al-Anon, I was a cook. I mean, I'm still a cook. I'm just a different kind of cook, I guess. My brother and I, we would cook a lot together, especially when we were kids, you know. That's when we were closest. Food was always our common ground. We wanted to open up a restaurant together. We had a name, we had a vibe, all of it. My brother could make you feel confident in yourself, you know? Like when I was a kid, if I was nervous, I was scared, I wouldn't want to do something, he'd tell me to just face it, you know, get it over with. He would always say, stupid. He would always say, let it rip. He was loud. He was hilarious. And he had this amazing ability. He could just walk into a room and he could take the temperature of it instantly, you know? He could dial it. And I'm not built like that. Man, I didn't have a lot of friends growing up. I had a stutter when I was a kid. I was scared to speak half the time. And I got shitty grades because I couldn't pay attention in school. I didn't go to college. I didn't have any girlfriends. I don't think I'm funny. I always thought my brother was my best friend. Like we just knew everything about each other except everybody thought he was their best friend, you know? He was that magnetic. And I didn't know my brother was using drugs. What does that say? As we got older, I realized I didn't know anything about him, really. He just stopped letting me into the restaurant a couple years ago. He just cut me off, cold. And that hurt, you know? And I think that flipped a switch in me where I was like, okay, well, fuck you. Watch this. And because we had this connection through food, and he made me feel so rejected and lame and shitty and uncool, I made this plan where I was going to go work in all the best restaurants in the world, you know? Like I'm going to go work in real kitchens. Like, fuck fuck mom and dad, pieces of shit, right? That sounds ridiculous, you know, me saying that now, but that's what I did. I got the shit kicked out of me. I separated herbs, and I shucked oysters and clams and uni. I cut myself. I got garlic and onions and peppers in my fingernails and in my eyes, and my skin was dry and oily at the same time. I had calluses on my fingers from the knives, and my stomach was fucked, and it was everything. And a couple of years later, this funny thing happened, which is like, for the first time in my life, I started to find this station for myself. And I was fast. And I wasn't afraid. And it was clear. And I felt okay, you know? I knew which vegetables went together, proteins, temperature, sauces, all that shit. And when somebody new came into the restaurant, I'd look at them like they were the competition. Like, I'm going to smoke this motherfucker. I felt like I could speak through the food. Like I could communicate through creativity. And that kind of confidence, you know? Like I was good at something. That was so new, and it was so exciting, and I just wanted him to know that. And fuck, I just wanted him to be like, good job. And the more he wouldn't, and the more our relationship kind of strained, the deeper into this I went, and the better I got. And the more people I cut out, the quieter my life got, and the routine of the kitchen was so consistent and exacting and busy and hard and alive, and I lost track of time, and he died. He left me his restaurant. And over the past couple months, I've been trying to fix it because it was in rough shape, and I think it's very clear that trying to fix the restaurant, that was me trying to fix whatever was happening with my brother. And I don't know, maybe fix the whole family, because that restaurant, it has, and it does mean a lot to people. It means a lot to me. I just don't know if it ever meant anything to him. Marvelous. All right. Let's go back to the chat. All right. No more words from Jonna. Thanks for asking, though. Let's see. Damn, spell that last name. Oh, these are great questions. Thank you. Yeah, very, very nice. Oh, boy, look at all these questions. After the TK thing, Shayna asked, oh, wait, but first, he said, wow, I was there in Charlotte. It was packed. You're a funny man. It was completely sold out, and the audience was amazing. He thought they were going to hate me, but they didn't hate me at all. They were lovely every step of the way. I had a great time. Thank you for coming to the show, and thanks for supporting live stand-up comedy. I'm glad you couldn't tell. I think that's what matters. Oh, Shayna asks, speaking of being outdoorsman, what's the last time you went camping or hiking? Well, it's more recent than the last. Oh, never mind. Anyway, I went hiking last, I think it's October is when my spot shuts down in the Smokies. It's from May to October. I go once a month up to my favorite spot, and I camp, and I sit in a chair, and I look at a river, and I try to find my peace. John Tay saying very nice things. Thank you, John Tay. Shayna said, who are some of the friendliest celebrity comedians I've ever met? They're all friendly. Seriously, everybody but TK has been nice to me. I met, let's see, who are the people you've heard of? Jim Gaffigan. I opened for Jim Gaffigan at the Evans Theater here in Charlotte. I got there at 4 o'clock because I like hanging out backstage at the theater. He was already there. He was in his green room from about 3 p.m. until 7 p.m. He came into my green room, shook my hand, shook my wife's hand, offered us food from his table. Introduced me as I came onto the stage, and took a picture with me afterwards. He was super kind, super graceful. Penn and Teller are absolutely beautiful, friendly people. Penn is a bit obnoxious when it comes to religion and no drugs. He won't shut up about those two things, but he couldn't be friendlier. He couldn't be kinder. He had me into his home. He came and watched one of my shows, which was one of the big thrills of my life because I was a magician when I was coming up and a huge Penn and Teller fan. So he was great. John Oliver. I got to open for John Oliver here at the club from last week tonight in The Daily Show. But it was his last year on The Daily Show. I was a huge fan because he just taken over for the summer. And he is just the slickest dude I ever met in my entire life. He sat in the green room, chatted with me for 10 minutes. Everybody who walked in, he had something interesting and kind to say. They asked him, oh, I loved you in this thing. It's like, oh, here's a funny story from that thing. It had a punchline. It just could not have been more. It was like James Bond. It's like James Bond, but with no sexual energy. He's unbelievably smooth and unbelievably kind. Geez, who else? Everybody. Seriously, TK, that's why it freaked me out. TK is the only comic I've ever met who pulled any of that shit. It was really, really, really surprising. Let's see. But they're all, everybody's famous. I don't even know who you like, but I've met most of them and they're friendly. TK Kirkland, like the Walmart brand. That's Kirkland. He's like a wrestling character. He's just the most self-assured, but way, way, way too far to the point where he's amazing. You got to check him out. You can't fake what he has. I kind of admire him a little bit for being so committed to being an asshole, because it's 24/7. He's living the dream. Oh, hey! Shana says hi to Jimmy Briggs. I can't believe Jimmy Briggs stuck his head in here. Love you, Jimmy. Glad you're here. Got to see you at the Big Dinosaur Show on Friday. I enjoyed that. And every time she sees or hears Shakira, I think of Jimmy Briggs. Wow, that's got to feel good. Every time I think of Jimmy Briggs, I think of Shakira. So that works out. For the folks at home, Jimmy has a very funny Shakira joke. Shannon would like to know, are there any Funny in the Fly Night or Thousand Laughs coming up? No, there are not. We don't have any of those on the books right now, but Debbie is doing March Mania, I believe. I don't remember the exact dates, but somebody can look them up. It's pretty easy. But there are 4 dates, and I'm doing all the graphics for those, and they'll be at the Stage Door Theater in Charlotte. So I hope you'll come see those, and as we get closer, I'll have the dates. I think it's March 3rd, March 4th, 15th, 6th, something like that. But you can certainly check Debbie's Facebook and know for sure. All right. Hey, we're up to speed. We made it to the chat. Nice job, everybody. Let's head on down and spin the wheel. Whoop, wrong button. Wisdom. Very, very nice. Let's lay down some wisdom from on high. All right, we have some wisdom today from Ram Dass. I assume it's pronounced Ram Dass because the alternative is Ram Dass. And if his name is Ram Dass, he can't be that smart. All right, this is wisdom from Ram Dass. R-A-M-D-A-S-S. When you go out into the woods and you look at trees, you see all these different trees. And some of them are bent, and some of them are straight, and some of them are evergreens, and some of them are whatever. And you look at the tree, and you allow it. You see why it is the way it is. You sort of understand that it didn't get a lot of light, and so it turned that way, right? And you don't get all emotional about it. You just allow it. You appreciate the tree. But the minute you get near humans, you lose all that. And you are constantly saying, you're to this, or I'm to that. That judging mind comes in. And so I practice turning people into trees, which means appreciating them just the way they are. I'm working on that. That's not bad. It's a good way to live. Thank you, Ram Dass. Oh, hey, we got a couple of... Here we go. I remember you not hanging out with us many years ago. Are you and Shubby good? I don't know who Shubby is. Is that a misprint or is that, yeah, I don't hang out with anybody. I almost never hang out after shows when I was touring. I'm very, very uncomfortable around people, and I was extremely ambitious, and I was certain that if I spent even 1 second longer around the people that I worked with, that my secret craziness would be revealed and I'd never work again. So I still don't hang out with anybody after shows. I always go right back to the hotel. Nothing personal. I love you. Shayna says, I'm so excited about March Mania. I already have all the dates on the calendar. Can't wait to see it. I believe you're part of the production team, and thank you in advance for volunteering for that. Now, Shayna wants to know some of the other celebrities I've opened for. Let's see. I opened for Jeff Dunham. That's how I got this scar. It was a fire-eating accident that I invented on the week that I opened for him. Jeff Dunham shook my hand, looked me in the eye, and he said one sentence to me before the show. One sentence and one sentence only, and that sentence was, "Only Peanut says fuck." True story. Let's see. Who else have I opened for? God, I don't even remember. It's been a while. Oh, let's see. I got to open for, who's that gorgeous black woman from Texas who is on Archer? Her name escapes me. I got to open for her. She was absolutely brilliant, incredibly well put together set, and just one of the most astonishingly beautiful people I've ever seen in my entire life. She was there early, total professional, nice suit, shook hands with everybody, took pictures, super kind. Ralphie May. How about Ralphie? Let's talk about Ralphie. I forgot about Ralphie. Ralphie was the only famous person who ever took a liking to me. Ralphie, I opened for him at some college in Raleigh, and he was sick, and he hung out 3 hours afterward. Jimmy Schubert. I would hang out with Jimmy Schubert. That guy's cool. I'd make an exception for Jimmy Schubert. But yeah, I opened up for Ralphie, and I had never seen his work before. And he did 3 hours, and he was sick. I could tell he had the flu. He did 3 hours, and then he did 2 hours meet and greet afterwards. Wasn't in his contract. He just wanted to meet all the 3,000 people in the audience. Took pictures with everybody, impressed the hell out of me. Extremely kind. Every time he came to town, we had lunch. He took me with him to a couple of gigs. Just a wonderful, wonderful man. Who else? Celebrities. God. I got to make a list. I don't know. I'll think about it. Jimmy Schubert. Nice. Was he in Jacksonville? Am I thinking that right, Jimmy Schubert? Anyway, that's that. Aisha Tyler. Thank you, Tony. That's exactly who it is. Aisha Tyler is absolutely brilliant. That lady is the shit. So together. So together. She felt like Barack Obama. That kind of, she walks in the room, everything stops. She's totally in control. No arrogance. No diva. No, nothing. Kind, polite, amazing. Oh, Aisha Tyler's fantastic. I'll think of some more. Tell you what, I'll keep thinking. I'll keep thinking. All right. We did the wisdom, so let's spin the wheel. Ooh, poem. All right, then. Well, let's you and me head on down to the Poetry Corner. I got a couple new ones for you. Meet me there. All right. Very nice. Bring in the chat. Okay. Now, this is a special treat for me. She is a total smoke show. She is a ridiculously attractive woman. She must have been a late bloomer, too, because she is really, really, really kind. And hard to look at. She's so good looking. Just like she's sculpted out of marble. She's so gorgeous. Okay, sorry. Neither here nor there. Okay. Does Sterling Hill know you open for it? I doubt Sterling Hill knows anything about me. We don't talk. Yeah, I can see I actually much prefer Ralphie May. Ralphie May was very, very kind to me. And Sterling hasn't always been. All right, then. Let's read a poem. Actually, our good friend Craig Collin, you know Craig Collin, of course. Craig Collin has been kind enough to offer me 3 or 4 short poems. So I'm going to do one of those first. This is the verse, since we're cussing so much on this particular episode. This is called This is the Verse by Philip Larkin, Larkin. They fuck you up, your mom and dad. They may not mean to, but they do. They fill you with the faults they had and add some extra, just for you. But they were fucked up in their turn by fools in old-style hats and coats, who half the time were soppy stern, and half at one another's throats. Man hands on misery to man. It deepens like a coastal shelf. Get out as early as you can, and don't have any kids yourself. There you go. That's for Craig. That's kind of a bummer. But he's not wrong. Oh, I haven't seen her on Blind Date, and she was on Friends. I didn't know that. Nah, Aisha Tyler's. You check out her stand-up if you get a chance. She's an expert. She is really, really, really good. All right, let's spin the wheel. It's hard to find sometimes. There it is. Ooh, all right, back to Shakespeare. Let's do it. Let's do, well, first of all, let's go to the Shakespeare stage. By the way, Aisha Tyler is also a prominent podcaster. She does a fantastic podcast whose name escapes me, but I've listened to 30 or 40 episodes while I was on the ships. And she wrote a fantastic book called Self-Inflicted Wounds, if I recall. She's a great interviewer in addition to all the other stuff that she does. So let us do... Let's do A Midsummer's Night Dream. This is Midsummer's Night Dream, Act 3, Scene 5. This is from Puck. My mistress with a monster is in love, near to her close and consecrated bower, while she was in her dull and sleeping hour. A crew of patches, rude mechanicals, that work for bread upon Athenian stalls, were met together to rehearse a play, intended for great Theseus' nuptial day. The shallowest thick skin of that barren sort, who Pyramus presented in their sport, forsook his scene, and entered in a break, when I did at him this advantage take. An ass's knoll I fixed on his head. Anon, this Thisbe must be answered, and forth my mimic comes. When they him spy as wild geese, that the creeping fowler eye, or russet-pated coughs, many in sort, rising and cawing at the gun's report, sever themselves and madly sweep the sky. So, at his sight, away his fellows fly. And, at our stamp, here o'er and o'er one falls. He murder cries, and help from Athens calls. Their sense thus weak, lost with their fears thus strong, made senseless things begin to do them wrong. For briars and thorns at their apparel snatch, some sleeves, some hats, from yielders all things catch. I led them on this distracted fear, and left sweet Pyramus translated here. When in that moment so it came to pass, Titania waked, and straightway loved an ass. We've all loved an ass at some point or another. There we go. Ooh, celebrity crushes. This is fun. Shayna, you're killing it. All right, let's go back to the chat chalet. Wonderful questions. Now, to be fair, Aisha was never my celebrity crush. I just thought she's a badass. I never felt like I wanted to hug her or kiss her or anything. I just sort of stood in awe of a lady whose shit is together. She was way too intimidating, way too together for a schmuck like me. So I was never a celebrity crush. But where'd it go? Well, besides Aisha Tyler, there it is. Who were some of my other celebrity crushes? Let's see. I assume you've seen Community. The young lady who plays Annie, Alison Brie, is, I've had a major crush on her for everything she's done forever. I've seen lots and lots of stuff, even the bad stuff. I just dig her vibe. I like the way she looks. And she looks like the first girl I ever had a crush on. Brooke Young. Do not tag her. Brooke Young, who, looked just like her in junior high school and high school. I never dated her either, but I just love dark hair and blue eyes. She's gorgeous. So I love Alison Brie. I love Patrick Stewart. I love Katie Sackhoff. Katie Sackhoff is, she's on The Mandalorian now. They don't make her wear a mask because she's very, very good looking. But I fell in love with her when she was on Battlestar Galactica, and she played Starbuck. I even named my dog after her, my dog Starbuck. She is amazing. She is very, very, she's around my age. She's lovely. She's fit. She's funny. She's sweet. And she went to junior high with Craig Collin. So I'm hooking that up somehow. I don't know exactly how I'm going to do it, but I'm one step closer to meeting her. Let's see. Other celebrity crushes. I'll think about it. It would make her sad. She was never a big fan of mine. Don't tag her because it would make her sad. It would just freak her out. Don't do that. I'll think of other celebrity crushes and other people that I've opened for when we come back. But for right now, I believe we got to spin the wheel. Anything can happen. What do you hope it lands on? Oh, there we go. All right. This is going to be fun. Pros. Love doing pros. Look at that. I finally got a thing for the pros. All right. Why can't we tag her? Celebrity crushes. All right. I'll keep thinking about that. Thanks for asking. I would like to read you one of my favorite celebrities. This is by Stephen King, who I adore, and I assume you do too. Or maybe you don't read. Kidding, of course. I know you do. Let us find, here we go, everything you need to know. This is from Stephen King's book on writing, and I think it's absolutely wonderful. Let me take a sip of water before we go. What's your favorite Stephen King book? I'm still a big The Stand guy, but every one is every single one. I buy it, I read it, and I enjoy it. I've been doing a little bit too much Holly Gibney lately for my taste, but, you know, again, they've all been good. Here we go. Stephen King. Everything You Need to Know to Write Successfully in 10 Minutes by Stephen King. Number 1, be talented. This, of course, is the killer. What is talent? I can hear somebody shouting, and here we are, ready to get into a discussion right up there with what is the meaning of life for weighty pronouncement. The purposes. Oh, there we go. For weighty pronouncement. You know what? I'm starting over. Number 1, be talented. This, of course, is the killer. What is talent? I can hear somebody shouting, and here we are, ready to get into a discussion right up there with what is the meaning of life when it comes to weighty pronouncements and total uselessness. For the purposes of the beginning writer, talent may as well be defined as eventual success, publication, and money. If you wrote something for which someone sent you a check, if you cashed the check and it didn't bounce, and if then you paid the light bill with the money, I consider you talented. Now, some of you are really hollering. Some of you are calling me one crass, money-fixated creep, and some of you are calling me bad names. Are you calling Harold Robbins talented? Someone in one of the great English departments of America is screeching, V.C. Andrews, Theodore Dreiser, or what about you, you dyslexic moron? Nonsense. Worse than nonsense. Off the subject. We're not talking about good or bad here. I'm interested in telling you how to get your stuff published, not in critical judgments of who's good or bad. As a rule, the critical judgments come after the check's been spent anyway. I have my own opinions, but most times I keep them to myself. People who are published steadily and are paid for what they are writing may either be saints or trollops, but they are clearly reaching a great many someones who want what they have. Ergo, they are communicating. Ergo, they are talented. The biggest part of writing successfully is being talented, and in the context of marketing, the only bad writer is one who doesn't get paid. If you're not talented, you won't succeed, and if you're not succeeding, you should know when to quit. When is that? I don't know. It's different for each writer. Not after 6 rejection slips, certainly, nor after 60, but after 600? Maybe. After 6,000? My friend, after 6,000 pinks, it's time you tried painting or computer programming. Further, almost every aspiring writer knows when he is getting warmer. You start getting little jotted notes on your rejection slips or personal letters, maybe a commiserating phone call. It's lonely out there in the cold, and there are encouraging voices, unless there is nothing in your words which warrants encouragement. I think you owe it to yourself to skip as much of the self-illusion as possible. If your eyes are open, you'll know which way to go or when to turn back. Number 2, be neat. Type, double space. Use a nice heavy white paper, never that erasable onion skin stuff. If you've marked up your manuscript a lot, do another draft. Number 3, be self-critical. If you haven't marked up your manuscript a lot, you did a lazy job. Only God gets things right the first time. Don't be a slob. Number 4, remove every extraneous word. You want to get up on a soapbox and preach? Fine. Get one and try your local park. You want to write for money? Get to the point. And if you remove all the excess garbage and discover you can't find the point, tear up what you wrote and start all over again, or try something new. Number 5, never look at a reference book while doing a first draft. You want to write a story? Fine. Put away your dictionary, your encyclopedias, your world almanac, and your thesaurus. Better yet, throw your thesaurus into the wastebasket. The only thing creepier than a thesaurus are those little paperback college students too lazy to read the assigned novels by around exam time. Any word you have to hunt for in a thesaurus is the wrong word. There are no exceptions to this rule. You think you might have a misspelled word? Okay, so here's your choice. Either look it up in the dictionary, thereby making sure you have it right and breaking your train of thought and the writer's trance in the bargain, or just spell it phonetically and correct it later. Why not? Did you think it was going to go somewhere? And if you need to know the largest city in Brazil and you find you don't have it in your head, why not write in Miami or Cleveland? You can check it, but later. When you sit down to write, don't do anything else except go to the bathroom, and only do that if you absolutely cannot put it off. Number 6, know the markets. Only a dimwit would send a story about giant vampire bats surrounding a high school to McCall's. Only a dimwit would send a tender story about a mother and daughter making up their differences on Christmas Eve to Playboy. But people do it all the time. I'm not exaggerating. I have seen such stories in the slush piles of the actual magazines. If you write a good story, why send it out in an ignorant fashion? Would you send your kid out in a snowstorm dressed in Bermuda shorts and a tank top? If you like science fiction, read the magazines. If you want to write confession stories, read the magazines, and so on. It isn't just a matter of knowing what's right for the present story. You can begin to catch on after a while to overall rhythms, editorial likes and dislikes, a magazine's entire slant. Sometimes your reading can influence the next story and create a sale. Number 7, write to entertain. Does this mean you can't write serious fiction? It does not. Somewhere along the line, pernicious critics have invested the American reading and writing public with the idea that entertaining fiction and serious ideas do not overlap. This would have surprised Charles Dickens, not to mention Jane Austen, John Steinbeck, William Faulkner, Bernard Malamud, and 100 others. But your serious ideas must always serve your story, not the other way around. I repeat, if you want to preach, get a soapbox. Number 8, ask yourself frequently, am I having fun? The answer needn't always be yes, but if it's always no, it's time for a new project or a new career. Number 9, how to evaluate criticism. Show your piece to a number of people. 10, let's say. Listen carefully to what they tell you. Smile and nod a lot. Then review what they said very carefully. If your critics are telling you the same thing about some facet of your story, a plot twist that doesn't work, a character who rings false, stilted narrative, or half a dozen other possibilities, change that facet. If it doesn't matter, if you really like that twist of that character, if a lot of people are telling you something is wrong with your piece, it is. If 7 or 8 of them are hitting on that same thing, I'd still suggest changing it. But if everyone, or even most everyone, is criticizing something different, you can safely disregard what all of them say. And finally, number 10, observe all rules for proper submission. Return postage, self-addressed envelope, all that. Number 11, an agent? Forget it. For now, agents get 10% of monies earned by their clients. 10% of nothing is nothing. Agents also have to pay the rent. Beginning writers do not contribute to that or any other necessity of life. Flog your stories around yourself. If you've done a novel, send around query letters to publishers one by one and follow up with sample chapters and or the manuscript complete. And remember Stephen King's first rule of writers and agents, learned by bitter personal experience. You don't need one until you're making enough for someone to steal. And if you're making that much, you'll be able to take your pick of good agents. Number 12, if it's bad, kill it. When it comes to people, mercy killing is against the law. When it comes to fiction, it is the law. That's everything you need to know. And if you listened, you can write everything and anything you want. I will now wish you a pleasant day and sign off. My 10 minutes are up. I love Stephen King. Ooh, very nice. Let's go back to the chat. Actually, no, I need to keep moving. We're running short. Okay, hold on. Let's go back to the chat. That says, oh, joke. Let's tell a joke. Go to the comedy club. All right, we got a couple of new questions. Let me double check, make sure I know the joke, and then we'll do a little bit of chatting. Ah, classic. All right, we're going to have fun with that one. So, here we go. She was both Joey's and Ross's girlfriend on Friends, I believe that. Way to go, both Joey and Ross. They must have been on a break. Let's see. I don't even watch the show and I get that reference. Let's see. Shayna said, besides Aisha Taylor, why can't we tag Brooke? Because it'd be weird. You do that here in the Comedy Zone. Have you considered Patrick Stewart? What the hell? Hey, I'm only flesh and blood, dude. Patrick Stewart is okay. I'm not even gonna lie. I got a little bit of a crush about, but mostly he, not even him, but Captain Picard. Captain Picard is my model for manhood. That is the kind of person I've always wanted to be, and he's my hero. So that's why I love Patrick Stewart so much. I enjoy all of his work. I like to hear him read. He's read all the sonnets. He's one of the reasons I read the sonnets on his Twitter for a year during the pandemic. Every day he woke up and he sat in his garden and he read us a sonnet. And I love Patrick Stewart, so do whatever you can. Oh, and you thinking a live audience. Now, you know, I've thought about doing the show with a live audience, but I can't even get a virtual audience except the two of you, and I love you both. And the big thing for me about the show is that it's got to be completely by myself. I need to do it alone. The reason it's my happy place is I don't have to count on anybody else except the folks at home watching, and I appreciate you very much. But I really, really like having this time to be alone. Oh, here's some more. Patrick Stewart's awesome. I don't give a damn what you think. Well, here we go. Ooh, one of my celebrity crushes is John Stamos. I've loved him since Full House, and he only gets better with age. John Stamos is a very attractive man, and he was married to one of my favorite women, Rebecca Remigio Stamos, which is not how she pronounces her name, but it's how I've always called her that, Rebecca Remigio Stamos, because I like the sound of it. I think it's funny. It's actually pronounced Remain, like the lettuce, but there's nothing lettucey about that girl. So here's an interesting thing. I was just watching all the X-Men movies this week, because we got the big Deadpool coming up pretty soon, and Rebecca Remigio Stamos was wonderful in all of those. She's running around in blue, doing great acting. I enjoy her. And here's something I heard. Her ex-husband after John Stamos was that kid, Jerry O'Connell. There it is, Jerry O'Connell, who was one of my favorite actors when I was a young man. But specifically, he was in a movie called Stand By Me. And I just found out this week that Rebecca Remigio, when she was a little girl, had Stand By Me posters in her room. She was obsessed with it. And then she married the kid from Stand By Me, who turned out to be a young, handsome man, Jerry O'Connell. Interesting fact. At least I thought so. Oh, Shanna says she loves short stories on like The Body, which is based on the movie Stand By Me. Well, that works out perfectly, because I was just talking about that. Love that movie, Stand By Me. Now, Tony says The Dark Tower, 1 through 7 only. All right, apparently it fell apart around 8, something like that. I like the first 3. I listened to them all on audio when I was a road comic, so I dug them all. But I don't enjoy the Dark Tower stuff as much as I enjoy the stuff that's set in our world. Shayna says she loves Misery, the book and the movie. Same with The Shining, although it's way too scary for me these days. No worry. Let's talk about that for a second. First of all, Misery. I love Misery. I love the book and the movie Misery. It's a fantastic book. The movie's very, very hard for me to watch because Annie Wilkes is nearly identical to my mother in physical appearance, in the way that she talks to people, and in the way she loses her shit and hurts people. So it's a powerful, powerful, powerful child fear that I see when I see Annie Wilkes pulling her shit. But it's a great movie, and I feel it hard. And The Shining, I just watched with my boy a couple weeks ago. Very excited about that. Months ago, I guess it was around Halloween. The first time I ever saw The Shining, somebody broke into my house. It was my parents were out of town. It was me and my buddy Charlie Repass. Please don't tag him. And we were watching The Shining on VHS in my living room when somebody broke into my parents' bedroom in the back. And I just went, "Who's her?" I was trying to sound like a big scary guy, and that person left. But that's the most terrified I've ever been. 8 should be burned. buy a copy and you certainly can burn it. That's what makes America great. Now, Shayna says that the first time, whoop, there you go. Ooh, boy, this is great, Shayna. Look at all this stuff. Shayna said the first time you watched Fight Club, did you realize the surprise ending about Edward Norton and Brad Pitt's character? I don't want to spoil it for anybody reading this, but you know what I'm referring to, right? I did. Yes, I know what you're talking about, and I began to suspect anytime secondary characters don't pay attention to one character, it kind of sets off a little knee-jerk reaction. But I think in Fight Club, no, I didn't see it coming in the movie Fight Club. No, I did not. God, I love that movie. So good. So good. Shayna wants to know when I'm spinning the wheel. Do you get dizzy when your head is spinning around like that? Get out of here. Shayna said, oh, so hot and so tragic. He died so young. Absolutely true. And now his brother is one of the top guys. Who saw that coming? Doing great work. Now, River Phoenix was a very, very special dude. He was beautiful, and he was very kind and loved by many, many people, is my understanding. I particularly liked him in the Indiana Jones movie when he played a young Indiana Jones. That's what I think of when I think of River Phoenix outside of Stand By Me. That was fun. All right, then. Let's spin the wheel. Gotta find it. There we go. Aha! All right, Zen Cohen. Let's go to the campfire. Let's do number 27, The Voice of Happiness. This is number 27. Zen Cohen, number 27, The Voice of Happiness. After Benkai had passed away, a blind man who lived near the master's temple told a friend, "Since I am blind, I cannot watch a person's face, so I must judge his character by the sound of his voice. Ordinarily, when I hear someone congratulate another upon his happiness or success, I also hear a secret tone of envy. When condolence is expressed for the misfortune of another, I hear pleasure and satisfaction, as if the one condoling was really glad there was something left to gain in his own world. In all my experience, however, Benkai's voice was always sincere. Whenever he expressed happiness, I heard nothing but happiness. And whenever he expressed sorrow, sorrow was all I heard." Nice. All right. All right, let's do a song. And will you step into my private library? Oop. Weird. Well, we're here. Why not? Let's get going. All right. Usually there's a secret library. It doesn't matter. Neither here nor there. Let us do... There we go. Touchy Feely Fool by AJR. Oh, no, better yet. I'm Asking You To by BNL. This is off of their new album. And it hit me extremely hard when I first heard it, because it seems to me to be a song about a man who loves his wife very much, but has to travel all the time because he's an entertainer, and thinks he may be ruining her life because of all that he needs because of the style of his life. I felt like this a lot when I was traveling. So, I'm Asking You To by the Bare Naked Ladies. It's hard to reconcile knowing what you know, and it sounds strange when you explain to your childhood friends. No one should have to sleep alone so much. No one should work this hard just to keep in touch. No one as loved as you are should not feel loved enough. But I'm asking you to. I'm asking you to. We work ourselves into a rhythm, and then I've got to go. We don't have to wonder what the problem is. We already know. No one should have to sleep alone so much. No one should work this hard just to keep in touch. No one as loved as you are, should not feel loved enough. But I'm asking you to. Once again, I'm asking you to. I wake up and half your day's gone. I think I make up for it, but I'm wrong. No one as loved as you are should not feel loved enough. But I'm asking you to. I'm asking you to. Oh, here we go. Back. Oh, got a couple questions. Oh, Tony said, have I read Skeleton Crew? It's a great selection of short stories. I have read every book that Stephen King has written, and my favorite are the short stories. I do them here on the show, but all his short stories are a little bit long. So, yeah, that's a great collection of short stories. I'm trying to remember which ones are which because I've read all of them. I'm trying to remember which ones were Nightmares and Dreamscapes, Everything's Eventual. I lose track of which ones are which, but I did read them all. Is Skeleton Crew the one with the raft? I really like the raft. Is Skeleton Crew the one where the doctor gets marooned on an island and he injects himself with heroin, but he doesn't have food, so he ends up eating himself to death? I think that's Skeleton Crew, and that's a good one. Oh, hey, hold on. Shayna's got a shameless plug. Shayna said, you asked me how I'm doing. I'm telling you I'm putting price tags on lots of my paintings and mixed media art and taking them to Sleepy Poet Antique today. Prices are affordable. I will keep that in mind. If there's anybody secretly watching in Charlotte, North Carolina, now's your chance. All right. Let's do... You know what? We're out of time. We're out of time. Ah, well. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'll try to get it going on time next week. Thank you so much for being here. Thanks for staying and watching the show. Thank you, Shayna. Thank you, Tony. If there's anybody else who watched who didn't write in, thanks for being here. I appreciate you sharing time with me. Until next time, remember, the only way to save this country, especially now, is for all of us to love one another. So, love yourself first. Then, find somebody else to love. Then, if you can, share that love with everybody. That's what I'm trying to do. Till next time. We'll meet again. Don't know where, don't know when, but I know we'll meet again some sunny day. Keep shining through just like you always do, and the blue skies will push the dark clouds far away. And would you please say hello to the folks that I know and tell them I won't be long. They'll be happy to know that as you saw me go, I was singing this song. We'll meet again, don't know where, I don't know when, but I know we'll meet again some sunny day. Thanks for watching. Until next week, be good, but not too good. Good night.